Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's a special NBA playoff prop show. It's our 4th edition, and we're bringing in the same guys we brought the last 3, where we've still got a pretty great record. We want to get right to it with Propstarz, with Larry Hartstein, with Adam ATM Thompson. Larry, before we get to picks and before we preview Pistons, Cavs, Thunder, Lakers, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. Happy birthday to you, Sia. I'm a little sad because this is one of the last days of the year where we will get 2 NBA playoff games with the sweeps that we're getting. So we got to make the most of it.
Proppy, how you feeling? You're a big NBA guy. You've got to be feeling a little, it's like that Super Bowl thing where like the night of the Super Bowl, you're like, well, this kind of stinks because we're not going to have football for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Although I thought this is probably my favorite stretch once we get to the conference finals. So I think we'll have some very competitive series. We still have some great basketball to preview leading up to that.
All right. Well, Adam, we're going to lead up to your pick right now. We're going to go game 1, Pistons and the Cavs, 3.5-point spread, although I believe it might be 4 in some places. We got a total over at BetMGM of 212.5. And Adam, I'm going to let you lead us off here. What's your favorite prop in this game?
Yeah, I'm going Evan Mobley for the Cavs, over 11.5 rebounds and assists total. He's had 2 solid games so far in this series and one kind of a dud so far, but he has yet to come even close to his 18.2 scoring average in this series, 13, 9, and 14 points in those 3 games. But he's grabbed 8 to 9 rebounds in 2 of the 3, and he's had 4 to 5 assists in all of the 3. He averaged 12.6 rebounds and assists during the season, so this is actually below that. He's had totals of 14 and 12 in the 2 games that he's actually played well in. So I think 10 rebounds is pretty doable for him. I think 3 to 4 assists is also very doable for him. It's actually under his average for this series. And, I think the opportunity to score is kind of lessened because Donovan Mitchell kind of takes over. You have James Harden shooting. You have Jared Allen down low doing his thing as well. But if he gets his usual 34 to 36 minutes, I like him in that 12 to 15 rebound assist range. So I'm going over with Evan Mobley.
Well, we've already got a lot of questions in the chat, which we are definitely going to get to. But I want to get over to Tobias Harris, Propstarz, because you might be the king of waiting for a line to be properly inflated before you take the pin and you deflate the balloon. Talk to me about an under points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, I've actually unsuccessfully been betting against Tobias Harris, but I'm going to be stubborn here and go back to the proverbial well. Going to fade Tobias Harris under 27.5 PRA. This is just a massive line for Tobias Harris, who averaged under 14 points per game in the regular season. Yes, in the playoffs, he's been a reliable secondary scoring option for the Pistons. I just do not feel that this is sustainable. I also don't think Tobias Harris just all of a sudden has found the fountain of youth. And I think he's just playing above expectations, above his head. I think the other shoe is going to drop, and you're going to see his production dip down. Maybe not to his regular season averages, but again, having to score 20-plus points and grab 8-plus rebounds is not something that he can consistently do, in my opinion, although he has been doing it to his credit in the playoffs. But this is a hyper-inflated PRA line. Even in the last game, game 3, where he played really well, shot 50%, scored 21 points, he still stayed under this 27.5 PRA line. So I think this is a great spot to fade him, and this is definitely my favorite of the categories to fade Tobias Harris.
Yeah, this certainly seems like an inflated line, and properly inflated. Like Propstarz, you're not surprised at the number. You just think now the number is too high.
Exactly, Sia. So yeah, I think this is a great spot to take advantage.
I think this is a great spot to read some comments. I know this is going to be a short show, quick pace, but Brian Rivera in the chat, who I'm sure has already hit the like button, he says, "Happy birthday to the greatest host of any show since Gene Rayburn on the original Match Game." Larry, I'm sure you watched the original Match Game with Gene Rayburn, who, by the way, was born in 1917. Your thoughts on this comment? This is a very astute comment from Brian Rivera.
When I saw that, my comment is that when I saw that comment, I knew you were going to highlight it.
That's totally fair. All right, we got to get to the questions, but of course, we got to get to your prop pick first. Larry, what you got?
I kind of like the way Adam is thinking with Mobley over on the rebounds assist, because it pairs nicely with my prop, which is Jarrett Allen over his points prop of 12.5. he just likes facing Jalen Duren, and he's shot 7 of 9 the last 2 games. And it's not all dunks. It's not all easy finishes off of James Harden or Donovan Mitchell passes. I saw him put the ball on the floor and blow by Duren to get to the basket. So Jared Allen is feeling very good right now offensively. We've seen him have these monster games. We've also seen him have the terrible foul trouble. That's my biggest concern, as we talked about this morning. But this number is pretty low, especially with James Harden, Donovan Mitchell attracting a lot of attention on that pick and roll, and Allen always making himself available. My biggest fear is that they give a lot more time to Paul Reed. If that happens, he's a little bit tougher to beat defensively than Jalen Duren.
All right, so we got Jared Allen over 12.5 points at -110. Let's get to some questions before we get to the sides and totals for this game that we like. Sia Thompson over 19.5 PRA. Adam, I'm going to go to you here. Any thoughts?
I love Sia Thompson, and I didn't back him this week, but I backed him earlier, and he was a little low. But I think the matchup is there for him. I think he's eventually gonna pop off one of these games, and it's probably going to be this one, because this isn't the one that I'm officially backing him on. But he's been a guy that I've liked this series and the last series. I think he's kind of trending in the right direction.
Anybody want to follow up there? And if not, go ahead, Larry.
I think he is going to get more minutes. He played 29 minutes. He and Paul Reed were 2 of their most effective players, and they didn't get the minutes that they should have gotten. And they were combined plus 23. Those 2 guys, they were plus 11 and plus 12. They thought, hey, we need offense. Let's take Sia Thompson out of the game. But Sia Thompson has been facilitating well. We know he crashes the glass. He can cut for layups and occasionally hit some shots. So I like this because I think he's going to play more 33 to 35 minutes.
We've got an under question from Ryan. And of course, Propstarz, I'm going to go to you on that one. Spida, that's Donovan Mitchell, under 27.5 points. Your thoughts?
He's looked really good the last 2 games. He's been aggressive. He's been shooting the ball well, not turning over the basketball, certainly leading the way for the Cleveland offense. The ball's in his hands quite a bit. So I think he's playing really well right now. It is a high number. Detroit obviously is a terrific defense as well, but he's been very good at home. I'd be hesitant to fade him, although I do lean under on the number.
Yeah, I will say Mikey B, I'm just trying to remember the number, if it was 26.5 or 27.5 where he gave it out, but the Early Edge Morning Show, he had that points over. So if you're considering the under there, Ryan, go ahead and consult the Early Edge Morning Show to hear Mikey B's argument if you haven't already. Let's go to Cade Cunningham over 41.5. Anybody want to take that one?
I'll take that. But Cade Cunningham has been phenomenal, stuffing the stat sheet. In my opinion, he's been the best player in the Eastern Conference throughout the playoffs. It's almost like a one-man show for the Pistons. He's a triple-double threat every night, double-digit assist upside. Typically, this line was fluctuating between 43.5 and 45.5. So considering it's discounted now in comparison to that, I think it's a good spot to back him.
All right, let's go to the sides and totals here. We got, go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just on Cade. I mean, he shot 10 of 27. He had 8 turnovers, including some terrible turnovers down the stretch. So I think you're going to see a guy who's a little more efficient, who's a little more buttoned up tonight, trying to prove a point, because that loss, a lot of it was on him.
Larry, we've got 2 of you on the Pistons +4. Make that argument.
Yeah, I mean, all of these games have come down to the wire right now. I mean, the home team has won and covered all 3, but they're basically even teams. I think 4 points is a lot of points. I think Cade is one guy who's going to play better. I don't think you're going to have 8 turnovers tonight. Certainly not those critical turnovers that he had. And again, Paul Reed is playing well. He's going to get more minutes. Sia Thompson should get more minutes. I think you should reduce Jalen Duren's minutes. And I think that's what the Pistons are going to do. I'm not saying they're going to win outright, but when there was a 4 available, I think that's attractive to me, because I really think this is a toss-up series.
Yeah, forgive me if I'm lagging a little bit connection-wise, but Propstarz, you like the Pistons +4 as well. Anything to add, and would you play it at +3.5?
I'm going to call my shot. I think the Pistons win outright tonight, but I'll take the points with them. I've just been so impressed with Detroit. Coming into this series, I thought Cleveland was going to have the upper hand here after watching Detroit against Orlando struggle to a team that had more talent on paper. And that has not been the case. This Detroit team really, after mounting that comeback versus the Magic, it's been playing really good on both ends. You can see their confidence is gaining. I love the way what I'm seeing from Detroit in all phases, playing very well defensively. Cade really ascending to becoming a superstar. So I think Detroit takes care of business tonight. I think they beat Cleveland, head back to Detroit, and potentially win 4-1.
All right. I think OKC takes care of business too. Now we'll get back. If we have questions, we'll get back to that first game. Let's talk about the 10:30 game though. Thunder minus 11.5 against the Lakers. Adam, I'm going to let you lead off here. We're going to start with props and then we're going to get to sides and totals. You have a prop play, but you also have a potential parlay to consider.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with a prop and it'll segue right into a very similar parlay. LeBron James over 1.5 threes. First off, defensively, OKC, they're going to let LeBron shoot as many threes as he wants. They don't want him attacking and scoring at will and scoring easily and dishing and doing all the things he does. They're going to sag. They're going to let LeBron shoot as much as he wants. No team has allowed more threes to the power forward position than the Thunder this season. As great as they are defensively, they'll let you shoot threes out there if you're big. James hit 2 of them in game 3, hit 3 of them in game 1. In series 1 against Houston, they were 3-0 when he hit 2+ threes. So, and I think LeBron has kind of figured out if he's not going to do it, nobody's going to do it for the Lakers. And he's old. He's like, he can only do so much. But I think he's going to try to put this team on his back tonight, and he's going to have to hit some shots from the outside to make that happen. So 1.5 threes at just over the spread. The line was, or the odds, I think, were about minus 115. That's not bad for something like that. So I think OKC is going to be happy for him to shoot from out there, and I think he's going to oblige.
All right. And so what was the rest of a potential parlay there, Adam?
Yeah, so I'm taking that with Chet Holmgren over 1.5 threes and Lou Dort over 1.5 threes. And you put them all together, it's about plus 550. And I think there's going to be some scoring in this game. Chet went 0 for 4 on threes in the last game, but he was 9 for 10 from the outside or from the inside the arc. Similarly, I think the Lakers can't let Chet run past them anymore. So expect them to be more sagging. I think that's okay because Holmgren hit 2+ threes in 5 of the previous 6 Thunder playoff games. So he's very capable of doing it from out there. It's damned if you do and damned if you don't, I guess, if you're the Lakers D. But I think they're going to sag. And same with Lou Dort. He started every playoff game with Jalen Williams out. And, of his 41 shot attempts, 35 of them have been threes. So, he's kind of deferring to the other guys on the team, which makes a lot of sense. But he was 2 for 2 on threes in the last game. And, over 1.5 threes instead of the over 6.5 points, because he might only shoot. He might go 2 for 4 on those threes, but I like all 3 of those over 1.5 3-point props that are out there right now.
Larry, there's a 3-point prop that you love as well, and it's from a guy who has been so good in the playoffs from 3-point range. Talk to me about Rui Hachimura.
Yeah, Hachimura is 29 out of 50 from beyond the arc in the playoffs. But if you look at what he did late in the season, he's actually had 14 straight games of shooting the ball 50% or better from beyond the arc. And basically every time he lets it go, it looks like it's going in. What I love is now that we're in the playoffs, his volume has gone up because there's no Luka, and his minutes have gone up. I mean, this guy played 37 minutes, 39 minutes, and 39 minutes. He's got 3, 4, and 5 trays in this game. He's had 6 to 8 attempts every game. If we get 8 attempts tonight, I am very optimistic that he will make 3 threes the way he is shooting the basketball. I love the fact that Austin Reeves is back because he's a creator. He's a guy that can get some open looks for Hachimura. LeBron is also finding him often. So give me Rui to stay hot. I mean, this is 14 straight games. And he credited a coach. He worked on this with a coach who's now on the Mavericks for changing his shooting motion and really working on his 3. And now it's a big part of his game, and it wasn't before. So this is kind of a new phenomenon for him, shooting this many threes and making this many threes. But he's always been a pretty good shooter, like 40%. Now this is obscene what he's doing.
It's really, really good stuff from Rui Hachimura. There's a lot of people in the chat that before you gave that takeout, Larry, were all over Rui. So Jacob and Nerys was in there talking about Rui Hachimura as well. And a lot of people, Propstarz, in the chat talking and discussing AJ Mitchell, who has been also very good. How are we attacking him tonight?
Yeah, I'm loving AJ Mitchell going over 16 and a half points tonight. AJ Mitchell has been phenomenal for this Thunder team. They have not skipped a beat with him in the lineup since Jalen Williams went down. He's started 5 games. He's scored at least 15 in all 5 games. He scored 20 plus in 3 of the 5 games, culminating in his best game of the playoffs in game 3, where he scored 24 points. He's just been so good. He can score from all 3 phases. He can get to the line as well. I've just been so impressed with him. Really, he's almost outscoring SGA in this series. So love what I'm seeing from AJ Mitchell. I think he continues to play big minutes, and I think he scores or eclipses this scoring prop tonight in the process.
Let me follow up with you from Hot Hands. He says AJ Mitchell over 24.5 PRA. What do you think of that? Obviously, you like the points better. What do you think about the PRA?
He had a career high in like rebounds and assists as well in the past game. So I looked at actually just isolate the points, just because I do feel like this is bumped up a little bit compared to where it usually is. So I prefer the points.
Adam, let's go to the sides and the totals. I was on CBS Sports Network earlier with Propstarz, so I kind of know where he's headed. Talk to me about the Thunder minus 11.5.
Yeah, this is it's a lean right now, but it's probably going to be about a half unit play for me on the Thunder. My heart is saying LeBron is going to find a way. They can't go out like this in this heap of a whimper of a series it's been. But these teams have played 7 times already, and no game has been close. Only one of them was decided by 9 points or less, and that was when SGA, the NBA MVP, did not play, and that was in LA as well. But these 3 games have been decided by 18, 18, and 23. The last 2 times when they played in the regular season, 45 and 48, they were decided by. What is going to change here? Pride? I don't know about that. Unless there's a bad seafood on the Thunder pregame spread, I think the Lakers are in big trouble here tonight. And while my heart says LeBron is going to find a way, my head and everything else in front of me says they're not. And this is going to be another 15 to 18 point drubbing.
Larry, the BetMGM has predictably moved this to 12.5. I mean, I think this is more reasonable. Not that it's that big of a difference, but it's hard for me to think at some point the Thunder are just not going to run away with this thing.
I mean, this was 10.5 earlier today and yesterday. So I'm wondering what, news, or it's just everybody piling on the Thunder. Maybe somebody got some reports about Lakers, have already booked their travel, for tomorrow to Cancun, because this is interesting to me to see 2-point movement without injury news, relevant injury news. But I couldn't, there's no way I could get in front of Thunder, because in my mind, the Lakers have played pretty well. They have really, I thought acquitted themselves well for, the first 3 quarters of most of these games, aside from DeAndre Ayton not going for rebounds. It was interesting to hear him called out. You don't hear guys called out like that all the time on national TV. And it was obvious, that Redick was, disgusted with him also. But otherwise, I think the Lakers have played well. So they're just not nearly as good.
Propstarz, that's the thing. Larry said it. I've watched these games, and the Lakers are playing better than I thought they could play. And then the next thing I know, they're losing by 25. So I just don't understand why, like a Lakers team that might be playing well for 2 to 2.5 quarters isn't going to get worked over by the end of 4.
Your best bet or guess is mine here. I don't understand it either. I think these teams are grossly mismatched. Especially, I think the Thunder still have a lot of meat left on the bone, and SGA hasn't had a 30-plus point performance. So, I think this is a massive mismatch. I think the Thunder are looking to challenge the 2001 Lakers, who went 16-1. So, wouldn't shock me here if they blow them out by 20-plus tonight.
That reminds me, Larry, we have a couple of questions. By the way, if you have more questions, get them in the chat now before we get out of here. But the news came down that Wemby was not going to be suspended, Larry. I know you had your rant this morning on the Early Edge 10 o'clock show. How disappointed are you that he's playing in Game 5? I bring this up, by the way, because OKC will be facing San Antonio, in my opinion, in the next round.
Yeah, and it's just such a crime because they can still win the series. Even if they had suspended him, they can still get the Spurs Thunder series that they're looking for, or that everyone is pointing towards. But I think it's ridiculous. I think, if Naz Reid was seriously injured, which he very well could have been, are you still not suspending him for a game at least? I think it's crazy. I've watched it so many times, and it's not one of those heat. I guess it is the heat of the moment, but there was a long, deliberate moment before he did that.
All these leagues do play the result, though, and the result is Naz Reid ended up being fine. So unfortunately, that's how they assess it. But you're right. Yeah, obviously, if he was seriously injured, it would have been a different, but he wasn't. So time served. I kind of get it. Propstarz, go ahead.
Refresh my memory. Wasn't it Rudy Tomjanovich when he was playing that took a really nasty elbow?
It was Rudy Tomjanovich.
Who delivered the elbow?
That's a good question. Was it Gene Rayburn?
I don't know.
And what happened? What was the consequence?
Oh, it was like the worst elbow in NBA history.
I mean, I think it might have.
I think it ended his career. Yeah.
Basically ended Rudy's career, right?
Yeah.
Kermit Washington.
That's right. Kermit Washington.
Yeah.
If I'm Naz Reid, I pretend like I'm extremely injured. Take one for the team and get Wemby suspended for. I mean, as important as Naz Reid might be, I don't know. Maybe that's how I would have played.
He doesn't watch enough soccer, unfortunately. I guess this could have ended way bit different.
Talk to SGA. Okay, let's go to some Pistons questions. Thunder. Oh no, let's go to Sia Thompson. 20 plus points, rebounds, and assists. I think we already handled. Didn't we already handle the Sia Thompson question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to Thunder team total. Anybody want to field that?
I like the over here as well. Yeah. The Thunder are capable of scoring 130 if they decide to press, or if the Lakers can make it a game and be competitive for 3.5 quarters. So I lean over full game total, and I like the Thunder team total as well.
Yeah, David Bierman had a write-up on that very prop on the site. He's had a really nice NBA playoff run, and he pointed out that the Thunder have cleared this all 6 of the 7 meetings with the Lakers. The one they missed, they were coming off like an 8-day layoff. This one looks good.
Let's bounce around.
I like the over too, and that definitely plays in. I think it's going to go over because of what OKC is going to do.
Thoughts on Dennis Jenkins over 8.5 points? Adam, I'm going to let you field that one.
Adam, you got us?
Sia, I got you. I couldn't hear Sia.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
About Dennis Jenkins points prop 8.5.
Dennis Jenkins points prop 8.5. I like the little guys. Usually I've been kind of thinking about stars. But today, I was looking at him. I was looking at Dort 6.5. There's another guy 6.5, 7.5. I think somebody has to come and step up for some of these teams, and why not? I think that's one that was kind of on my radar. I didn't go with it officially, but I thought that was a fine pick actually. I like the over on that.
This one's interesting, Propstarz. I don't know if you have comments on Jenkins, but this one's interesting. Inspired by buckets. Pistons and Cavs, both teams to score 102. So they both have to get to 102 or higher, and that is plus 105. Your thoughts?
Cleveland plays better at home offensively. Donovan Mitchell's in a good rhythm. I think both teams have a chance to score over 102 points. I think the over is also going to come in as well. So I don't see a big difference in betting this. I think it makes sense for both teams to score at least 102.
Larry, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do like that. I think we'll both, I think it's going to be a tight game, 107, 105, something like that. So I like that.
I don't know if Adam had something there, but I don't know if we have more questions here. But what I do want to do to finish the show is talk about futures, Propstarz. Anything in the futures market, whether it's to win the Western Conference, to win the championship, anything that you're looking at, or have we just sucked out all of the value from the market at this point?
At this point, I think it's very clear cut, in my opinion. I think we're destined for a Thunder versus Knicks matchup in the NBA Finals. I think the odds certainly reflect that as well. So unfortunately, I just don't think this is a year where there's just been a lot of big surprises. I mean, the Knicks were a surprise to a certain effect, but at this stage of the betting market, I don't think there's a lot of surprises in my opinion. So I think that the Timberwolves have a little bit of value versus the Spurs because of how well they've been playing recently. Anthony Edwards has really been dominant in this series from a scoring standpoint, looks to be healthier as well. So I've been very impressed with the Timberwolves resolve. I still think the Spurs are still having some lapses of maturity and experience. So it wouldn't shock me to see the Timberwolves advance. But yeah, I really think it's a lock at this point if both the Thunder and Knicks remain relatively healthy.
Larry, you are sporting Spurs colors. Do you want to make the argument for San Antonio?
I can't, but on the other side, I will make the argument for the Pistons. I don't think that's going to be an easy series for the Knicks. The Pistons right now plus 220 or so to win the conference. I mean, they crushed the Knicks 3 times this year by massive margins, and the last time the Knicks were at full strength. So yes, the Knicks are in an incredible groove right now, but I know the Knicks are rooting for the Cavs.
The Pistons in the regular season are drastically, I mean, they're still a good team in the postseason, but in the regular season, they were going full tilt versus a lot of these teams that are cruising. And again, like kudos to the Pistons for doing that, but they will not stand a chance versus the Knicks when the Knicks are playing this well.
Oh, Richard Pierre agrees. He says Jalen Brunson Finals MVP. Adam, if you had to pick the 2 finalists, who's it going to be?
Well, the Knicks, I think we've all liked the Knicks for a couple of weeks now. They've kind of been trending in the right direction. And like Propstarz said, the Pistons, not as much so. They went all in to get that 1 seed. Kudos to them. They got it. We'll see what it means for them. And, you know, OKC, I don't know how you fade them at this point. I love San Antonio. And I think that's going to be an awesome series. And the NBA is going to be very excited, as is whatever broadcasting channel they happen to be on. But yeah, I'm going OKC over San Antonio, and I think they're going to play the Knicks.
Proppy.
I would set the Thunder at either 1.5 or 2.5, the amount of games that they're going to lose in the postseason.
Wow. So
Yeah,
here's the thing.
That's a stronger statement than I just made, I think.
Well, here's the thing that I take exception with. And I know not everybody's making the argument. Larry just made it, like with the Pistons being, you know, just having the Knicks number. Again, that's regular season, but San Antonio certainly had Oklahoma City's number in the regular season. I know that doesn't translate to the playoffs necessarily, but Proppy, you're just not worried about San Antonio at all, right?
I'm not. After watching them in this series, seeing them against Portland, they looked a little bit vulnerable to me. They just are inexperienced. I just think there's just so much more going for this Thunder team. They're just more cohesive. They're so reliant on Wemby having such a massive impact. Guys, yeah, I just think this Thunder team are just firing on all cylinders. And they're just, I think they would very likely sweep the San Antonio or win 4-1.
OKC Thunder's 405 in the chat. Larry, I'm going to give you final word here before we close shop and do the recap screen, of course. He said, Thunder are the best team in the NBA. No team is stopping Oklahoma City. We are a dynasty. No bias here. Larry, your response.
I can't disagree. It's plus 1,500 right now. I just checked on FanDuel for them to go undefeated through the postseason, but I would love to see a line on the games. I think it'll be 2.5, Alex. I don't think it'd be 1.5. When you have 2 tough series ahead of you, I think the number would be at least 2.5.
I'd make the line 2.5.
And you'd go under.
And you go under then, right?
I'd lean under, but yes, I'd make the line 2.5 games.
All right. We do have to get to the recap screen. The one piece of advice I'd want to give OKC Thunder 405, who apparently is in the locker room and is like a part of the whole OKC experience, is maybe when you do a pump fake, sometimes just try to make the shot instead of just jumping into somebody. I feel like that might be a better brand of basketball and maybe just as effective, as good as this team happens to be. Let's get, anybody want a final word this before I get to the recap screen? Let's get to the, okay, go ahead, Proppy.
AJ Mitchell sat out their entire postseason run last season. Now this season, it's just incredible to me how he has just stepped up and he looks like one of the best players in the series on the court, going head to head with De'Aaron Fox and outplaying him. So it's just been so impressed with the next man up mentality, and this is their development of talent at OKC is truly remarkable.
Oh, I have one other thing too. This current starting lineup with Jalen Williams out, this starting lineup has been together for 15 games throughout the season. They're 15-0.
Wow. That I did not know. Larry Hartstein in the chat says, for Sia, OKC equals Trevor Lawrence. Larry, that's probably true. Schedule release is this Thursday, right, gentlemen? NFL schedule release? I believe so.
Go Birds.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So football content coming on the SportsLine YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you are subscribed to SportsLine and go to sportsline.com/join to get all of the picks, simulations, model picks, all of that stuff for every single sport. That, of course, includes the Discord, where you can find Joe Neuenfeld and Jen, Richard Pierre, and so many that are in the chat right now. Let's get to the recap screen as Ben shows you how to join the Discord, but also how to join SportsLine. Jared Allen over 12.5 points, -110. That one from Larry Hartstein. He also has the Pistons +4, -115. And the Rui Hachimura over 2.5 threes at +115. Propstarz, Tobias Harris under 27.5 points, rebounds, assists at -118. The Pistons +4, -110. AJ Mitchell over 16.5 points, -115. And the Thunder -11.5 at -110. Then we go to Adam Thompson, Evan Mobley over 11.5 rebounds and assists at -109. And LeBron James over 1.5 threes, also at -109. He threw in a parlay for everybody earlier in the show. So go back, if you joined us late, go back and check out that as well. Oh, here it is. Here's the parlay. LeBron James over 1.5 threes, Lou Dort over 1.5 threes, and Chet Holmgren over 1.5 threes, +553. Appreciate all the birthday wishes in the chat. Some I didn't get to acknowledge earlier in the show, but Farzad, Joe, Richard Pierre, Big Cheesy, everybody in here that is saying happy birthday. Definitely appreciate everybody in the chat saying that. And I guess we got to get out of here. I could go another hour with these three, but I'm going to let them go. We'll do this again hopefully very soon. Turn your notifications on if you want, because a lot of special shows popping up. But more than anything, make sure you're subscribed to the SportsLine YouTube channel so you can catch Propstarz, Larry Hartstein, Adam Thompson, and the rest of the SportsLine crew every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get out of here. Enjoy the 2 games tonight. We'll see you next time on The Early Edge.